Good day, everyone. Welcome to 21st Century Literature from the Philippines and the World class. Last week, we have discussed about the literary devices in literature. So for this week, we are going to move to our fourth topic, and that is 21st century literary genre. These are the learning competencies for this topic. We are going to identify 21st century literary genre and compare and contrast 21st century literary genre. Let's define what literary genre. So what is it? A literary genre is a style of writing. Your favorite literary genre might be science fiction, for example. So in literature, there are different literary genre. For example, kanang poem. Poem has sub-genre like lyrical poem, dramatic poem, or narrative poem. So that is the genre for that major literary genre of poetry. And in short story as well, there are various genre of short story or fictional story writing. We have science fiction, speculative fiction, romance, comedy, horror, suspense, and many others. So that is what it means by literary genre, meaning it is genre means kind or type, and literary is that pertains to writing. The word genre means artistic category or style, and you can talk about a movie's genre. Like, I know that you have already watched a film, then let me ask you, what is or are your favorite type of film? Do you love to watch romantic films? Do you like to watch horror films? So those are some of the movie types when you are going to watch a film. Since in our generation, there is what we called as film adaptation, meaning, say for instance, a novel. For example, kanang The Hunger Games, as we've all known, the Hunger Games story is originally constructed in a novel. But in this generation, since many people like to watch film, there are a lot of moviegoers. The the producer of that novel had decided that why not we will adopt a film of this novel. So from novel, they have transformed it into its uh, film adaptation. So that is now the trend of this generation, wherein film adaptation is prominent in our times. So, or the genre of music. So what are genres of music or the types of music? We have country music. So when we say country music, personally, I like country music because when I listen to country music, we can create a story out of the lyrical lines in country music. The the country music that I like is, or the country artist that I like is Carrie Underwood, because as I will listen to her songs are most of her songs uh, has a theme of what do you call this, kanang to maintain hope despite many challenges in life. So that's the beautiful quality of country music. You can create a story out of the music that you are listening. And we also have, aside from country music, we also have pop music, jazz music, R&B. So those are some of the genre of music. When you use the term literary genre, you make it clear that you're talking about books and writing, since as what I have told you earlier, literary means It pertains to writing, such as books, novels, short stories, poetry. Those are literary masterpieces. And when we say genre, genre pertains to type or what kind of writing it is. Is it uh, horror, romance, science fiction? So those are literary genres. So bookstores sometimes use literary genres as a way to separate books into different sections, like classics or mysteries. The word genre is French, and it means kind, sort, or style. So what it means to be literate. So how do we become a literate person? So as society and technology change, so does literacy. Because technology has increased the intensity and complexity of literate environment, the 21st century demands that a literate person possess a wide range of abilities and competencies, or many literacies. These literacies, from reading online newspapers to participating in virtual classrooms. So just as what we are doing now, wherein we've used this Google Classroom in order for us to communicate with one another, teacher and student communication, since we are experiencing a global health pandemic, which is the COVID-19 or coronavirus. So the Department of Education had organized this new setup of learning, which is the online learning, so that we can remedy the from face-to-face interaction into uh, to virtual interaction between the students and teachers. So when we say literate, it means competencies or skills that we are going to acquire. So in literature, so we are going to focus more on literature since that is what our subject is all about. So how do we become a literate in reading a piece of literature? We are going to be a literate through understanding the text that we are about to read. So when you are going to read a piece of literature, you have to feel it. You have to understand every, for example, if you are going to read a fictional story, you have to understand who are the characters of the story, where and when does the story had happened, or can you plot the story from its beginning, middle, and end? Or what is the conflict of the story that you have read? What is the theme of the story that you have read? So when you are going to answer those questions, that is an indicator or indication that you have fully understand the text that you are reading. So that means that you are literate, because literate is uh, when a person is literate, he has or she has the ability to understand or comprehend many things. And since we are now in a technological era or information age, I guarantee that each one of us knows how to maneuver a laptop, cell phones, through using this gadget. As a responsible person, we have to use our gadgets in a relevant way. Since since social media is propagated in this age, when you use your social media accounts like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, you have to follow credible sources in order for you to know the societal events that had happened in our current or present time, so that you will not be left behind on what is going on in our society, so that through the development of technology, we are well informed. So I guess no one is ignorant on what is on what had happened in our society. Develop proficiency with the tools of technology. So how are we going to develop our proficiency through technology. So we are going to build relationship with others to pose and solve problems collaboratively and cross-culturally. So through technology, even though we are separated by a long distance or a long distance through using technology such as messenger, for example, through this mobile app, through this application, we are able to communicate with one another. So we could somehow ask someone on how to resolve this particular problem, just like what the World Health Organization is doing. They are using this app, kaning Zoom, when they are going to share their thoughts on how to wrestle this global health pandemic through virtual communication, just like what I am doing. In order for me to discuss my topic, I am using the Zoom app so that I can record my video lecture. When we say cross-cultural, through technology, we can reach out, we can reach out to another culture, just like when we are, for example, when you watch a television channel such as kanang the channel wherein I forgot what channel it is, but through this channel you will be able to know the lifestyle that the other country had encountered on. So unsa may nahitabo aning sa Africa, as I have watched in that channel, I have discovered that they have experienced an extreme hungriness in their nation because they are very poor, and based from history we can easily trace out that they are very they need help. They really need help. Then design and share information for global communities to meet a variety of purposes. Then manage, analyze, and synthesize multiple streams of simultaneous information and create, critique, analyze, and evaluate multimedia texts. As our technology is growing, as you have observed, there are few millennials who holds a book, because most of the time we have hold our mobile phone, because through mobile phone we can, even though that is just a small gadget, but a mobile phone or a cell phone, we can also acquire an information from using our cellular phones. So who is the 21st century readers? So these are people who grew up using technology as a primary learning tool. So kamo, you are a 21st century reader, since as you were born in this world, you have already you haven't been exposed to gadgets. Is capable of navigating and interpreting digital formats and media messages. So you as 21st century readers, you know how to use your cell phones. You can you know how to edit through using the Microsoft Word. You can know how to use Microsoft Excel, PowerPoint presentation. Then possesses literacy skills, which include technological abilities such as keyboarding, internet navigation, interpretation of technological speak, ability to communicate and interpret coded language, and decipher graphics. So you are the 21st century readers. What is 21st century literature? So new literary work created within the last decade. So these are written by contemporary authors, and it deals with current themes, issues, and reflects a technological culture, and often breaks traditional writing rules. So as you have observed the classical writings to contemporary writings, classical writings followed this structure, kaning rhythmic pattern, kaning rhyme scheme, but in contemporary writing, we somehow eliminate that kind of norm, because when the writer of the day writes their literary masterpieces, this is basically based from what they have thought about. They are not imprisoned on a structure or whatsoever, but when they write their literary masterpieces, they somehow base that on what they think, and they recreate their own style as a writer. So they don't copy style from someone else, but they are recreating a new style or a new strategy when they will write a piece of poetry, short story, or play script. And 21st century literature, its common theme is on what is going on. The common theme is the things or the events that is going on in our current situation. Then emerging genres like IM and blog format books, DG fiction, doodle fiction, and graphic novels. So let's go to the 21st century literary genre. So these are the 21st century literary genre. So first is the illustrated novel. So this is story through text and illustrated images. So when we say text, text is composed of letters or words. Then kaning illustrated novel, there is a text and at the same time there is a novel. It is similar to comics. Are you familiar with comics? If you have seen a comics, there is an illustration in there, and at the same time a textual description on the event that is going on in the story. So 50% of the narrative is presented without words. So daghan kayo siyang mga drawings. The readers must interpret the images in order to comprehend completely the story. Then textual portions are presented in traditional format, and some illustrated novels may contain no text at all. So it is purely drawings, illustration, limited of words. So that is what illustrated novel is. Then span all genres. So when you are going to create illustrated novel, you can use different genres like horror, adventure, romance. It depends on you, author, on what genre you will write. So these are examples of illustrated novel: Moby Dick, then Cinderella. Then the second 21st century literary genre is DG fiction. So what is DG fiction? This is a triple media literature. So this is a combination of book, movie, and video and internet website. So are you familiar with kaning audiobook? That is an example of DG fiction, wherein you will just use your gadget and then you also use your headset, and then you will just listen to it because there is someone who will narrate the story. So you as a reader, you will not read it, but you will just listen to that audiobook, since there is someone who will and narrate the story. Then movie, kaning mga film, that is an example of DG fiction. In order to get the full story, student must engage in navigation, reading, viewing in all three formats. So this is an example of DG fiction. As you can see, there is a link in there. When you are going to click that link, you will be transported or navigated to the literary text from that link. So that is DG fiction. So in DG fiction, you need to have internet in order for you to grab a copy of a story. Next, we have graphic novels. So narratives in comic book format. So pare-pareha na siya sa illustrated novel wherein there are a lot of images and at the same time textual information. Narrative work in which the story is conveyed to the readers using comic form. Then the term is employed in a broad manner encompassing non-fiction works and thematically linked short story as well as fictional stories across a number of genres. So when you are going to create graphic novels, depende kung unsa nga genre ang imuhang gamon, whether it is romance, adventure, or whatsoever. So these are an example of graphic novel. So as you can see, there is an image of the scene or the image of the event, and there is also a box that contains the textual information on what is going on in that particular image. We have also manga. What is manga? This is not fruit. So this is a Japanese word for comics. So it has the same quality with illustrated novel or graphic novel wherein there is an image in there. It is used in the English-speaking world as a generic term for all comic books and graphic novels originally published in Japan. Considered as an artistic and storytelling style, then America manga sometimes used to refer to comics created by American artists in manga style. These are examples of manga. We have Naruto. So I guess you have already watched this show Naruto because we have adapted this manga series in our Philippine television channel. Naruto is a story about Naruto, who is a Hokage. He has special powers. Then we have Kuma. And this is, I forgot the name of this manga series, but this is all about this boy has a card, and in this card, naay mga supernatural creatures nga mo exist when he will drop his card. Then we also have Detective Conan. So Detective Conan is a story about this young boy, Conan, who has the ability to investigate this mysterious case that is going on in the story. So kani si Conan is a young boy. Then nahimo siyang young boy because there is a black community or a black organization who destroys her aging. Kay naa siya gipatumar nga something, a poison. Instead of killing him, wala siya namatay, but he was turned into a young boy. Then during the investigation, Conan will use Richard as the one who will resolve the case. He will put a needle at the neck or at the back of Richard, and then he will imitate his voice, and then he will detail on what is the reason why this thing had happened, who killed this person. So Conan is the one who will resolve the mysterious case. So those are examples of manga. So another examples of Japanese manga, we have shonen. Shonen is for boys manga, kaning Naruto, Bleach, One Piece. So kaning One Piece, we have already watched One Piece in GMA since we have an adaptation of that show. One Piece is a story about Monkey D. Luffy, who is a pirate, and then he also has a gang, and then they have many expedition, and they use this ship of them, so they are pirates, and then they also encounter a different conflict as they will arrive to their itineraries. Then kaning Bleach, Bleach is a story of this guy who has the ability to see ghosts. So kaning I guess the main character or the protagonist of Bleach is Ichigo. Ichigo is has the ability to see ghosts. So he's a ghost hunter. We have shoujo. Shoujo is a girl's manga. Example is Sailor Moon. So Sailor Moon is a story of this young lady. She is in a middle school. Usagi, manila ito yung pangan. Yeah, and then she has a friend named Luna. Luna is a black cat, and then Luna had given her a magical brooch, and then this magical brooch is a tool wherein through using this magical brooch, Usage had turned into a Sailor Moon, and she is obliged to wrestle to the forces of evil. So that is what Sailor Moon is all about. Then we have seinen. This is for men's manga. Example is Akira. Then we have Josie. This is for women's manga. Example is Loveless and Paradise Kiss. Then for children's manga, we have Kodomo. Example is Doraemon. Doraemon is a story about, can you see Doraemon is a friend of Nobita. Nobita, as you have watched this show in GMA7, I have watched Doraemon in GMA7. You can see to it that Nobita has been bullied by his classmate. Can you see Damulag Ogse and the gang? Then can you see Doraemon is in the rescue in helping Nobita in Doraemon will give an item to Nobita just to impress his classmates. Can you see Doraemon is a robot cat that has been created by the future grandson of Nobita. Okay, as you have seen in the show, Nobita has been bullied by his friend. So Doraemon is in the rescue. We also have Hello Kitty. Another genre of this era is doodle fiction. So literary presentation where the author incorporates doodle writing and drawings and handwritten graphics in place of traditional font. And drawing enhance the story, often adding humorous elements that would be missing if the illustration were omitted. So this is an example of doodle fiction. As you can see, doodle fiction is, there are a lot of images in there. Gipang tapo-tapo ang mga image. And then you as a reader, you can create a story out of that doodle image. Kaning what do we call this show? I guess this is the Avengers. The Avenger is being transformed into its doodle format so that it will be applicable to the kids. Since as you have watched the Avengers in a film, it is somehow applicable to the adult. In order for it to be suitable to young audiences, they recreated that into its doodle transformation. Then we have text talk novels. So these examples of text talk novels, we have blog, emails, or IM formats. IM formats narrative. So kaning blog, do you have blogs? So you need internet in order for you to create a blog or emails. So emails, just like what we are doing now, wherein when the teacher sends an assignment, you will be notified through your emails. That is text talk novels. Stories told almost completely in dialogues, simulating social networking exchanges. For example, kanang messenger, that is an example of text talk novels or text tula, because it is in a form of dialogue, but in a textual form, not in a speaking or oral form. If, for example, if you are going to chat with your boyfriend or girlfriend, that is another way of presenting your text talk novels or text talk narratives. Example is text messages. That is an example of text talk. Mo ni siya example of text talk. We have another 21st century literary genre is chick lit or chick literature. So is a genre fiction which addresses issues of modern womanhood, often humorously and light-heartedly. So it is the protagonist of chick lit is a woman or a girl. Chick lit typically features a female protagonist whose womanhood is heavily thermalized in the plot. So example is Confessions of Shopaholic. So Confessions of Shopaholic is a story of Rebecca who is so obsessed or addict in buying stuffs like clothing, shoes, accessories. So that is what the story is all about. Confessions of Shopaholic. Then we have Mean Girls. Mean Girl is a story about Katie. Katie is a junior high school girl. Then she encountered this group of ladies, which is composed of Regina George, Gretchen, and Kate. They have been considered as the plastics in the campus. Then we also have The Devil Wears Prada. So The Devil Wears Prada is a story of Kanisiya Kaisi. It was starred by Anne Hathaway. I forgot her name in the story. She is working as a junior personal assistant to Miranda Priestley. Then she was so what do you call this? She was so pressured with the culture of the work since she is a very simple girl, but you know she is working in a fashion industry because can you say Miranda Priestley is an editor in chief of this fashion magazine called Runway. So can you see Miranda had pressured her nga she should wear fancy clothing. She should be stylish when she comes to their workplace or to their company because that is the culture of their work to entice the viewers on dressing in a fascinating way, to be sophisticated when you go or when you are going to present yourself to the public, you have to fascinate them. So, siya, na-pressure siya sa iyahang boss. That is why she turned to be a stylish lady. And then there is a theory that whatever you wear, what you wear reflects who you are. So in the narrative, in the beginning of the story, she was a simple girl, but as the story progresses, she turns to be sophisticated, and she even overlap her other co-workers. Then next is flash fiction. So it's a style of fictional literature of extreme brevity. So kaning flash fiction, bubo ra ni siya. This is just a short story, very short. It has simple plot, few characters. There is no widely accepted definition of the length of the category. It could range from word to 1,000. The flash fiction is composed of in just a piece of bond paper, a front page of a bond paper. So this is an example of flash fiction. So as you can see, its length it is just very short. A flash fiction can contain one piece of paper. Then next, 21st century literary genre is science fiction. So it's a genre of speculative fiction dealing with imaginative concepts such as futuristic science and technology, space travel, time travel, faster than light travel, parallel universe, and extraterrestrial life. So from the word itself, science fiction. So it's a story about technology. Since in our age we have experienced a vast change of our technology. So if you are a reader who is fond of or who is interested in reading science fiction, I will show to you some of the examples of science fiction. So often explores the potential consequences of scientific and other innovations and has been called a literature of ideas. So these are examples of science fiction kaning Star Wars. So as you can see in the film, there are a lot of fascinating technology or gadget in the film. The computer is high-end. Their weapon in fighting their enemy is superb. And they also have kaning mga spaceship. Then kanisiya is this setting can be found in the story of the Hunger Games, wherein this is a headquarter of these people who will watch the tributes. We also have blog. So what is blog? It is a combination of weblog. So website containing short articles called posts that are changed regularly. So any blog, so the one who have a blog is called a blogger. So a blogger is a writer who writes kaning mga social issues that we are encountering in this time, such as may mga social issues like kaning controversial bill nga anti-terror bill. What can you say about the Manila Bay Project? You can create an article of those social issues. Then same blogs are written by one person containing their own opinions, interests, and experiences, while others are written by many different people. So this is the format of a blog. So in a blog, you are going to put your profile picture in there. Then in here is you are going to write your thoughts. your daily experiences, your travel logs, your travels, or your likes and dislikes. You can write that in your personal blog. Then we also have creative nonfiction. So we all know that nonfiction is, this is a story that had happened in real life. Also known as literary nonfiction or narrative nonfiction, a genre of writing that uses literary styles and techniques to create factually accurate narratives. So contrast with other nonfiction such as technical writing or journalism, which is also rooted in accurate fact, but is not primarily written in service to its craft. So example of creative nonfiction is your daily experiences, or you can write your personal essay about who you are, who is your favorite artist. That is an example of creative nonfiction. So how do we make nonfiction into its creative form? So you are going to integrate those literary devices that we have discussed last week. You have to integrate imagery in there. Your diction should sound sophisticated. So that is how you do creative nonfiction. It is also a genre or a creative nonfiction is still relatively young and is only beginning to be scrutinized with the same critical analysis given to fiction and poetry. We also have hyper poetry. So this is a digital poetry that uses links using hypertext markup. So this is similar with digifiction. So you need to have internet access in order for you to access a hyper poetry. Ang hyper poetry, you will be given a link in there, and then when you are going to click that link, you will be exposed to different pieces of poetry. Then kanang hypertext is if you are going to search in the google.com, then you have seen a blue image in there, and then when you are going to click that blue image, you will be navigated to another tab because through navigating that to another tab, you will be, you as an online user, when you are going to navigate that into a new tab, you will be explained on what that hypertext is all about. Nanay daghang mga explanation adto gi-elaborate na kay kanang blue nga hypertext is quite vague, wala na siya gi-explain og maayo. That is why you have to click that so that you will know its full details. It can either involve set words, phrases, lines that are presented in variable order but sit on the page much as traditional poetry does, or it can contain parts of the poem that move and or mutate. So just like what I said earlier, kanang mo navigate siya to another tab. So that is the special power of hypertext. It is usually found online through CD-ROM, and diskette version exist. The earliest example date to no later than mid-1980. So those are the topics for today. So we have discussed about the 21st century literary genre of our age. So what are these 21st century literary genre? We have DG fiction, graphic novel, illustrated novel, science fiction, what else? And many others. So those are the 21st century literary genre. Then, as we've defined literary genre means type or kind or style of writing. Since literary pertains to writing, then genre pertains to style or types. So for example, kaning short story, unsa may mga type of short story, we have romance, comedy, and many other. So those are the 21st century literary genre. Thank you for listening. I hope you have understood the concepts that I have presented to you. So if you have a question, please don't hesitate to private message me. And God bless you all and stay safe at home. Thank you.